I can't even imagine living long term with what I was going through. It was such a sad and lonely and like just a horrible time. My name is Laura Hack. I am a nurse. I work in oncology. I'm also a volunteer young life leader, so I volunteer with high school kids. And yeah, I'm just kind of like someone who loves adventures, loves having a good laugh, you know, is a hardcore Office fan, so I have my priorities straight in life. So anorexia, the formal diagnosis came in grade 12. It was at the end of grade 12, I saw through my doctor's office a psychiatrist, and he was I go to a family health team, so he was partnered with the family health team, and so my doctor, and you know, and it is something to this day, a lot of doctors don't fully understand, like, even like as a nurse or a healthcare provider, like eating disorders are very complex, and I actually don't feel like they're well covered, like even in the medical programs, unless you specialize in them. So when I was in elementary school, I had a group of friends that I was super close with, and we went to high school together. But when I went to high school, I had the chance, and I got to know people in older grades, and they didn't really like that, so they started excluding me. And at that point, like I had a good base with my family, so I just said, you know what, like I'm gonna branch out and try meeting other friends. Things were going really well, but by the end of grade 11, like this group that I was in and this group that I was in before formed this like mega group, and they just started excluding me, and I felt like just so sad because to me, like, people were everything at that point, and I just felt like I was a horrible person for not really having like too many friends. So I just kind of initially started losing weight, thinking, okay, this is a way that I can get girls, sounded funny, get girls, but get people to like me or accept me. And initially people made comments like, Laura, you look great. And I was like, oh, this is working. I should continue with this. When I was in grade 11 and grade 12, I lost I'd say about 30 pounds then. And then I kind of plateaued for a while. But then when I went to university, first year university, I kind of plateaued. By second year though, I lost another 20 pounds. So my biggest risk, and oftentimes what they see with eating disorders, is like a low bone density, which basically means like your bones are very brittle, they're very fragile. So they knew that like when they saw how sick I was, they needed to push for a bone scan. I saw the doctor and she diagnosed me with osteoporosis. Like she said, like, you know, you have the bones. She told me, I'm an 8-year-old woman, and she said, and unfortunately, like, you know, at the age you are, like, actually I think, it was 19, she's like, the likelihood of you getting that full bone density just based on your build and based on, she's like, it's going to be really challenging. So I think I was like in my 80s or 90s with my build. I think I was high 80s was the lowest I was for my build, like low 80s. And so that was when I was really sick, and that's when like my heart was having all issues. That's when my kidneys were shutting down, and that's when you really did see the physical manifestations.
I love it so much.
I remember like in second year, I completed the refeeding by the end of the summer. I took longer because I was sneaky. It was, I just kind of laughed at like how sneaky I was. And I remember by fall, or like end of summer, end of summer, I remember my refeeding was complete. And I remember feeling like anxious at that point to be like, oh my goodness, like what's next now? Like now I have to figure out how to eat normally. So I had a bone scan in fourth year. And the doctor, I remember it was the same doctor I saw. She's followed me throughout, like looking at the scan and being like she had to leave the room, and I was like, I don't know what she's doing. But she left the room and she grabbed her colleague and brought them in. They both looked at the bone scan, were like kind of like questioning and looking at it, and they got up and left again. And she came back down and was like, I don't really know how this happened, but she said, honestly, I've never seen this in all my years of practice. She said, I don't fully understand why it's happened. You were in the same scanner, like I know the consistency was there. But she said, but your bones look like a normal, I was 21 at that point, she said a normal 21-year-old. When I initially finished my refeeding, they said to my parents, she can start introducing activity, but it has to be like healthy, like it can't be with the purpose of losing weight. I really got into running. I just found it as a way to process exactly and to think about stuff and to be with my thoughts. I remember I was running and I picked up one of my high school kids and the mom was like, oh, did you run today? I was like, yeah, I just did 16K. And she's like, why do you not run like half marathons? I was like, I don't know, I just like, to me, like I never have really like even thought of doing those just because it's just a way that I process stuff. And she's like, no, like you should do them. So I signed up for one and I ran it this past fall. And it was a really cool like moment because I think like when I crossed the finish line, it was just a moment of being like, oh my goodness, like I just never thought like that my body would be functioning at this capacity to do that. Girls who are struggling with it, like, or just girls in general, just the best thing I can say is, you know, like we all have a set point, and like I think society, like, you know, yes, there's consequences of, you know, like having unhealthy relationships with food. So, you know, either like, you know, overeating or undereating, but just know that like all our bodies have a set point, you know, and like you all were made to be, and you're gonna look different than your classmate, and that's okay, and there's beauty in that, and like you still are worthwhile of having the same chances or the same life as these girls.